I estimate that I got up sometime around 5 in the morning or so. And from that time until Dad got home from work, following which pretty much immediately I set in. We drove to CSC in order to mail in my paper application to the town for a front desk job, hopefully at CSC. From that time until I got up, from that time to until I first got up today, I barely had to do any work on the application at all because the day before, it was easy for me to complete the rest of it prior. I was just stuck up on the references. And I didn't really have to do any work on the application until roughly somewhere between 11 in the morning and noon. By which point, I believe I had already spent hours working to resolve an issue I first discovered within the first hours of today. In that, while remove a color did work, turns out a portion of Dan Hammond's shades that are supposed to be transparent weren't, because the tint of the shades made the bright red background into a sort of dark red that's different from bright red. And plus, that portion is surrounded by a white line barrier created by the frame of Dan Hammond's shades. And it doesn't seem like there's an option in Camtasia 2019 for 2 consecutive remove a color visual effects. So I've been all, if not most of today's work on the 99 Dan Hammond episode has been focused on creating custom props through saving templates scenes as templates in using Vyond Studio. And then into the video, I save and convert them to 1080p quality MP4 downloads using Vyond Studio. I open these MP4 files, and then within those files, I use the snipping tool and then Lunapic, if need be, in order to create the custom props I need. There were points, and have been points still, in which I've needed to, in which it took multiple attempts, to get the custom prop to line up properly with whatever the background around Dan Hamming is. For the time being, I'm hoping to find a way to prevent that sort of thing from happening again in the future. Whether that be using a different color background for Dan Hamming in the foreseeable future, maybe finding a newer version of Rapper Offline. Since I noticed at another point there was a colorization difference between two Bandicam recorded animations of Dan Hamming that I got from Rapper Offline. In fact, that's entirely what I use Rapper Offline for, to get animations of non-business themed characters like Dan Hamming. I have no idea what caused that slight discolorization. At what times seemed like size differences between another pair of Bandicam recorded animations. But I'll see what I can do tomorrow. At one point I fell asleep, I think maybe somewhere between 6 and 7 p.m. Woke up at around 10:30 p.m. It's currently 10:58 p.m. And Dad told me he would go to Burger King following my dropping off of the paper application, which took about a minute or two tops. I literally just had to go to the front desk, which is immediately after the main entrance to CSC. I just had to drop it off there. I assumed Dad was going to go to Burger King tomorrow when he said he was going to go to Burger King. I didn't expect it to be today, so while it was unexpected, it was indeed a nice surprise. The burgers he got are intended for tomorrow, much like the Salvatore's pizza with black olives, bits of green pepper, and onions, what appeared to be pepperoni and sausage. I had the first two pieces together, microwaving them for a minute. Around 11 p.m. Then the second pair, separately, for 45 seconds each, was originally going to be around 3 p.m., but it ended up being around 5 p.m. because I worked intently on trying to fix the whole shades problem. I've gotten as far as the last major scene, skipping fixes that could potentially take making multiple custom props, potentially one custom prop, having to do so every few frames or so, which I may or may not decide to fix later. Perhaps it may ultimately come down to, having to redo those animations. It may come down to doing that. I was hoping to release the episode at midnight. I don't think I'll be able to do that though, but hopefully I'll be able to do so the next day. Excuse me. Dad and I shared some Burger King French fries. To be exact, I think it was 3 small orders of fries. Or at least that's what it looked like to me. I'd be surprised if there were mediums or something like that. Around 7 p.m. I pretty much finished the kombucha the trilogy flavor by GTS. I got from Wegmans. I drank the majority of it during our little car trip to drop off the paper application, and then go to Burger King. Dad initially told me, I think around 4 p.m., that he had a surprise for me, and that ended up being the surprise. Apparently they were on sale today. 2 for $7. So we got one for each of us. The dislike script works for the most part. There was just one instance, maybe it was in the afternoon or so, in which quite a few other players seem to be helping me recently. And Elvinar, or maybe there's always been this much help, but I'm just now noticing it. There was just one instance where the script, weirdly enough, seemed to stop working, at least for telling the number of dislikes. Maybe it was when I searched and found a video that had no dislikes on it. And the script didn't think to show a 0, and it only really resolved itself when I closed down that tab. That I think I either opened freshly new and then made the search, or maybe it had been open for some time and then I made the search. Though I'm more likely going to stick to the former for the time being. At times I get a sense that YouTube acts rather inconsistently. Which doesn't really do much to make it easier to determine what is considered appropriate for a general audience and not appropriate for a general audience on YouTube at times.